as a European social partner, we already do quite a lot in terms of providing frameworks and tools. And clearly the benefit of that is it represents a common approach with the trade unions. So it's joint initiatives with the trade unions, which are useful for our members, but more broadly for companies as well to implement actions around working conditions. And of course, the most recent example of that, and a good example, I would say, is our agreement on digitalization, which covers many issues, but also includes issues around working conditions. Then I suppose our role otherwise as an organization, and we try to do that also in our interactions with Eurofound, is to provide an idea of the situation on the ground in companies. So how are companies specifically dealing with the challenges on working conditions? What actions do they take to improve these? What would be the impact of actions taken at a European level on them? When we're taking into account the lessons learned from COVID, we have to bear in mind that it's not a normal situation. When it comes to telework in particular, normally it's a choice that workers make. It can even be a demand that workers make. It's not an obligation, which it obviously has been under these circumstances. For us, it's important to find tools which actually help managers and workers to deal with this situation. Of course, we have to bear in mind that some of the boundaries between work and private life can be blurred when people are working from home. But at the same time, that it can have advantages in terms of work-life balance, in terms of people working perhaps more autonomously. But also we need tools which help to make sure that workers remain productive when they're working from home, and that managers know how to manage workers from a distance, which is very different to managing workers when you're in the same kind of physical environment. I think for us, one of the key persisting issues is the gender segregation on labour markets. And there have been some improvements in this area, but not so much. And it's one of the root causes of gender inequality. And it seems that it's difficult to combat this across the EU. We still have a lot of professions that are dominated by men and others that are dominated by women. And I think we need to work more with sectors to try to increase attractiveness of sectors to different sexes, to women and men. And that goes both ways. It's not only about what we usually hear about, making sure that we get more women into science, engineering, mathematics professions. And of course, that starts in university and school. It's also about getting more men into professions which are dominated by women, like social care sectors, etc. I think if we're talking about making work more sustainable in terms of older workers being able to stay in the labour market longer, I think the issue of skills is really important to make sure that they remain employable. And one key issue for us as employers is, of course, it's important that training opportunities, skills updating is provided. Sometimes that's provided by employers, sometimes that's provided by public authorities, sometimes that's provided jointly by employers and trade unions.